I'm Kurt A. Eichsteadt, the Grunion Gazette movie writer. I'm joined by Jonathan Van Dyke, my co-worker and fellow movie buff, and we're here to make our picks for the Academy Awards.
How do you do? Kurt, what'd you think about this one?
Daniel Day-Lewis is my guy. This is a movie that worked for me on many levels, and taking a story about passing a piece of legislation and making it interesting and compelling, everything has to work. And Daniel Day-Lewis, I felt, transformed himself. That's one of his strengths as an actor. He never looks the same, and you never know what you're going to get. So he did an outstanding job, carried the movie, because it seems like he was in every single scene. I'm taking Daniel.
Well, Kurt, as my Fast and Furious cohorts say, I'm going to have to ride or die for my boy Joaquin Phoenix on this one. This is the category that I want to stump for someone more than any other one. And I know he's doomed. He's going up against Denzel and Daniel Day-Lewis, who might as well just alternate the trophy every year. But Joaquin gives one of the most visceral performances I've ever seen in my life in The Master. It's just amazing. He does all the mannerism stuff that you're used to with Daniel Day-Lewis, but he's creating almost like free-form jazz as far as a character so deeply complicated and icy that like you walk away from that movie and you don't even know, what you saw.
It's a good category with excellent performances from everybody, in my opinion. But I have to go with Robert De Niro. He took his intensity that sometimes makes you nuts while you're watching him, because he's so intense in different kinds of roles, took all that energy and brought it down to a somewhat more nuanced performance. And so my choice, De Niro.
For me, this was the hardest category because it wasn't really blown away with the nominees as much in some other categories. So I think I'm going to fall back on an old fail-safe and go Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Master. The Master, for all its difficulties, is real easy to pick and root for The Master when it comes to performances in that. And Philip Seymour Hoffman gives at least the second or third best performance in that movie, which is a compliment because it was so good and the acting caliber in that movie was so great. But what Philip does is he brings a bravado with a realistic sense that this is a real person, but also a vibrato of a person that's essentially in charge of what some people consider, if not a religion, a cult in some areas. And he actually gives that some human depth, some human vulnerability. And for that, I choose Philip Seymour in this category. This one, on the other hand, in comparison to what I thought was supporting actor, this is an amazing category. It was tough, but I'm going with my girl Jessica Chastain. I just thought in a category that had a lot of actually very interesting and weird roles, I was just drawn to her performance is just so powerful and strong and it's tinged with this like weird, you essentially see a woman so possessed by her work that it almost kind of zombifies her by the end, and you can really see the emotional toll as you go along in the film, and I think for that reason I choose her in this category.
She did a good job making it believable that somebody could be obsessed for a decade with one job. You believed that when it was over. Having said that, I disagree. I'm going with Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook. This is a story about normal people with regular problems. Lots of times movie roles about mental illness, the actors are out of control, but she wasn't. This was a subtle performance, something that I think we're going to be talking about for a long time, and we're going to be talking about her for a long time because she does the big action movies and then she does a small, subtle movie like this. So Jennifer's my girl.
Well, Kurt, I think I'm going to have to go with an old Oscar stalwart, Miss Sally Field. I thought she did excellent in Lincoln. I thought, for me, Spielberg films don't always work because they're just a little too magical, a little too dopey. And I thought her performance as Lincoln's wife really kind of brought some gravity, really brought a different mood, a little kind of leveled out the emotions of the film a little bit. And kind of due to that strong performance, it kind of took that film up to a new level that I don't think it was capable of without her performance.
I agree with you on this one, Jonathan. Everybody has an opinion about Mrs. Lincoln. There's been so much written about her and all these stories about her down through the years. So Sally Field comes along and makes this character stand out in this movie, and it's doubly hard for her because it's such a predominantly male cast, and the women's roles were smaller, but she sure dominated her role and made an impact in the movie. I chose Silver Linings Playbook. Just a marvelous movie, a movie that tells a story about regular people, but leaves you with a lot to think about, understanding the problems that people have to deal with, and great performances all the way around. And so I think years from now, people are still going to be talking about Silver Linings Playbook.
Well, Kurt, I think that that's an excellent choice, and actually I would slot Silver Linings Playbook into my number 2, but my heart just says Life of Pi, and I know I picked director as well, and really is for those reasons. I've never seen a better 3D movie in my life, and it was just the most visually astounding movie I've seen this year. All right, Kurt, well, I enjoyed all the nominees we saw this year, but there are a few moments that I didn't think get a lot of shine in 2012, and specifically for the Oscars. If I was to choose my favorite of last year, I'm actually going to choose a small film. I am going to go the indie route here, and I'm going to recommend that people go see Safety Not Guaranteed. As far as the movie goes, it's just very well character-driven movie. It doesn't tie up all the loose ends, and it really makes you invest in the characters, but it's not kind of, even though I love Little Miss Sunshine, it doesn't play on that same thing. It takes these characters very seriously as well. So I would recommend people. Mark Duplass is great in it. Aubrey Plaza is great. If you're a New Girl fan, you're going to find something to love in there as well. What about you, Kurt? Is there something out there that you like that you're not hearing a lot about at award season time?
I think two things that should have been shown a little love were Wreck-It Ralph, which was just magnificent animation, creating new video games, different worlds, everything have a different feel and a different look to it, and outstanding work by voice talent like John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman. And another movie that I think was overlooked was the Bond movie, Skyfall. Bond movies have been around for a long time, and if this wasn't the best, it was one of the best. And I think that should have been a Best Picture nomination as well. The curtain's coming down on our Oscar preview. Be sure to look for my column, Viewing the Videos, for more movie information every Tuesday online at Gazettes.com. I'm Kurt A. Eichsteadt.
I'm Jonathan Van Dyke. And until next time, our balcony is closed.